Now, the lengthy countdown to the 2022 polls is now lengthless. In less than 10 hours, the country heads to the ballot in what is Kenya's consequential contest and a transitional election. Tomorrow's democratic exercise will be a culmination of the longest political season in Kenya's recent history. 4 presidential candidates will be aiming to replace President Uhuru Kenyatta, whose 10-year stint at the House on the Hill comes to an end. Azimio la Umoja's Raila Odinga will be making his 5th stab to be the 5th president, having lost in 1997, controversially in 2007, 2013 and 2017. His proverbial last bullet is on. Will the self-declared people's president be the Republic's? Deputy President William Ruto will be making the country's top job for the first time. The second in command, who fell out with his boss, President Uhuru Kenyatta, has fashioned his politics around a hustler narrative and a symbolic wheelbarrow. How many wheels will he need to State House? Roots Party's Professor George Wajakoya, whose unconventional agenda to legalize marijuana made him an electorate's darling and sensation, wants to weed out bad leadership. How realistic is his white smoke? Agano's David Mwaure says he is the real deal and comes like the biblical David. Will he withstand the political glare of his time? Good evening and welcome to the country's fastest growing television. Our wall-to-wall coverage of the 2022 polls continues. I am Abubakar Abdullahi, Ann Wairimu and Minim Besa are on the sign language interpretation desk. Welcome to the broadcast. We begin this broadcast in Uasin Gishu County, where our very own Zainab Mohammed is on standby, a county that has a political significance given that it is Deputy President William Ruto's political backyard. Zainab, how are the preparations so far ahead of the 10 hours to the opening of the polling stations tomorrow at 6 a.m.?
Good evening, Abubakar. We are here at the main polling station for Soi constituency at the heart of Eldoret town. And as you can see behind me, a beehive of activities as the distribution exercise continues. The exercise that has been going on smoothly, albeit slowly, has been going on from at least 5 p.m. this evening, and the security here is tight. Most wards are in the process of receiving their ballot papers, a process which is anticipated to end at 10 p.m. but might go longer than that. So this is the case in many polling stations and many county tallying centers here at Eldoret town. Also, another key factor to note is that there has been no issues, no security issues, no hitches whatsoever the entire day, despite this area being mapped as a potential hotspot during the elections. Another thing to note is that this area that has over 500,000 registered voters spread across 6 counties and with over 868 polling stations is quite significant in this race, due to the fact that, number one, the presidential candidate for UDA, Deputy President William Ruto, hails from this area. Number 2, this particular county is also known as his backyard, as you said, a stronghold as was seen in the 2017 election. So therefore, we'll be keeping a close eye to just have a look at whether this will be the case in this year's election or the dynamics have changed. How will the 500,000 voters here shape the presidential election? Number 2, another thing that we'll be keeping a close eye on is the highly contested gubernatorial and senatorial races, where the gubernatorial race attracted 3 candidates. One, Chelilim Jonathan B. alias Kotimoja, who is running with the UDA party ticket, Kiprop Zedekia Bundotich alias Buzeki, who is running on an independent ticket, and William Kirwa alias Mwalimu, who's running on Azimio ticket. In the senatorial race, we have two candidates, Robert Kemei, who's running on an independent ticket, and the current governor of Uasin Gishu County, Jackson Mandago, who's running on a UDA ticket. Now, these are some of the things we'll be looking at. We have been assured that this process will end a little past 10 p.m. and will therefore be here early at 6 a.m. just to check how things are going on. We have also been informed that the Deputy President, William Ruto, will be voting at exactly 6 a.m. as the first voter in Kosachei Primary School. Those are some of the things we'll be on the lookout on, and we will be keeping you updated with live updates as the events continue to unfold. Back to you, Abubakar.
Well, Zainab Mohammed, perhaps before I let you go, this is a county that overwhelmingly voted the Jubilee administration in 2017 to the tune of 98%. Azimio's Raila Odinga, then as a presidential candidate in the ODM party, got 1%, 2016 votes. Just how important will the percentage of voter turnout be to Deputy President William Ruto as he seeks to be the country's fifth president?
Like I said, Abubakar, with over 500,000 votes from here in Uasin Gishu County, getting a 90 to 98% for the DP will be indeed key in his presidential aspirations and his race towards State House. But whether or not that has changed is something to keep an eye on, because like we have heard from people around here is that the dynamics might have changed from those in 2017 and things might be different, but that is not for us to say. We will be awaiting the process tomorrow and we'll be following the tallying process keenly just to compare whether or not that will be the case. Back to you, Abubakar.
Well, thank you, Zainab Mohammed, for that report. Our very own Zainab Mohammed, who is pitching tent and will be updating us from Uasin Gishu County as far as the latest ahead of the polls, which are in less than 10 hours' time, are concerned. From Uasin Gishu County, let's come back to the city where our very own Moiga William has been following up on the results, has been following up on the political happenings at Bomas of Kenya. Moiga, to you, what do we know as of now?
Well, a good evening to you back in studio, and still we are boots on grounds here at the Bomas of Kenya, and currently we have been keeping a keen eye and also following the updates by the Independent Electoral and Boundary Commission when it comes to the daily briefings in terms or in relation to the preparedness of the 9th of August general elections, which is actually tomorrow. And on this particular eve of before the elections, that is tomorrow, the IEBC has come out, led by its chairman, Wafula Chebukati, in their daily briefings to the media, and raised a number of issues and also addressed a number of issues. But key to note of importance, some of the issues that have cropped out of this particular media briefing from the IEBC is pushing forward some of the election in some areas. Among them is the gubernatorial race in Mombasa and Kakamega County, and also in some constituency that is Kacheliba constituency and also Pokot South constituency. Reason being, according to IEBC, is the mix-up that was realized earlier in the day of printing of ballot papers in these particular areas. There was a mix-up according to IEBC. And also another issue that has cropped out of their media briefing is the issue of some polling clerks have been arrested in Diwa area. 4 have been arrested and also dismissed to conduct that particular exercise that is tomorrow as early as 6 a.m. polling stations will be opened to let Kenyans to elect their leaders. This is after 5 years. And also another issue is the issue of security. This has cropped out of their media briefing, and some of the areas have been affected. That is Turkana and Mandera, and citing in the area of Mandera, according to IEBC, 2 classrooms have been banned, and noting that classrooms are important because they are being used as polling stations. But according to IEBC, some of these area securities has been beefed up, and also 150,000 police officers have been deployed in this particular exercise across all the 47 counties to aid in giving security during and after the election that is set for tomorrow. And also, away from those issues, the IEBC has given an update when it comes to observers and monitors. And according to IEBC, over 120,000 monitors and observers have been cleared and accredited by this particular poll agency, and they will be spread across all the 47 counties to see how the process will be taking place. But also media, both local and international, over 4,000 media personnel have been accredited by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission during this particular exercise. Also quick to note is the issue of the manual register, and IEBC has pronounced itself. This is after a direction given by the Court of Appeal, whereby IEBC will use the KIMS kit to identify voters, but the manual register will be the last solution. That is, if the KIMS kit fail to be in use. And these are some of the issues that have cropped out of this media briefing that happened later today in the evening. And bit by bit, we have been able to do a recap of what IEBC had to mention. But of importance in tomorrow's election, remember, this will be the 5th election for Kenyans to participate, being in a multi-party environment. And also to note, under the 2010 constitution that was promulgated in the year 2010, Kenyans will be having an opportunity to choose their leaders, that is for the 3rd time under this particular constitution. And also they'll be having an opportunity to, after the end of the 5-year term, they'll be having another opportunity to choose the leaders who will be in power for the next 5 years. But for now, we are here. We are still pitching tent here at the Bomas of Kenya to ensure that we manage to tell our viewers what transpires here bit by bit, each and every moment, because this particular election count to each and every registered voter across the country. I'm Moige William, but for now, I'll take it back to you in studio. Over to you.
Thank you, Moige William, for that update. Remember, IEBC earlier in a press briefing suspended the gubernatorial contest in Mombasa and Kakamega counties, citing errors in the ballot papers. However, the ballot will be cast for the different other seats, inclusive of the presidential, the senator, the member of parliament, the member of county assembly, and the woman rep position. Our wall-to-wall coverage continues from Bomas, which is the very heartbeat of the 2022 polls, the very same place where IEBC Chair Wafula Chebukati will be announcing who Kenya's 5th president is. Let's get to Siaya County, where our very own Elizabeth Tieno is on standby. Elizabeth, how does Siaya look like tonight, 8 hours, I believe, ahead of the polls?
Yes, a very good evening to you in studio. We are coming to you live from Nyagondo village in Siaya County. Now, there's something special about this particular village. Here we come across this homestead with 24 occupants. And of the 24 occupants, 17 are registered voters. So we said, why not speak to these people and just understand what this means for them as a family? How prepared are they for tomorrow? Remember, tomorrow is a very big day for the whole country, and not only Siaya County, but for the whole country of Kenya, as Kenyans line up in different polling stations to elect their leaders in various seats, various elective seats. So let me speak to some of the residents in this particular family just to understand how prepared are they for tomorrow. Kindly come here, join us, and tell us, how prepared are you? Kindly start by telling us your name.
You are lovely.
Okay. I
just
mimi niko na kura
na kesho nitarauka saa 12. Saa 12 kamili nitakuwa huko. Nimetoka Nyagondo. Sasa nilishaenda Nyagondo nikaona jina langu liko kwa list. Kwa hivyo nitarauka asubuhi na mapema. Asanteni.
Yeah, this is Nyagondo in West Game, Game constituency, Siaya County. We are ready to vote tomorrow. We have mobilized our family, and not only our family, the entire constituency, the entire West Game is ready to vote tomorrow. We expect to line up by 6 o'clock tomorrow, and all of us will be there. My family is ready to go, and everybody is ready. We are ready.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, if I could just speak to Mama as well, kindly come here and tell us your name and how prepared are you for tomorrow?
I'm prepared to wake up very early in the morning, and I expect the election to be free and fair, and we hope for the best. Yeah. Thank you.
How different would you expect tomorrow's election to be conducted? For the years you've been participating in the process, how different would you expect tomorrow's elections to take place in Kenya?
Tomorrow's election in Kenya, I expect it to be very peaceful and free and fair, and we expect for a good outcome.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, as I stated earlier on, this is a family with 24 members, and of the 24 members, 17 are registered voters. And they're just a few meters from the polling station, which is just a few meters from here. Remember that Siaya County is a very vital county in this particular election, especially given that the Azimio la Umoja flag bearer Raila Odinga actually identifies this as his home county. So this is indeed a very interesting county and a very vital county to look at in this year's elections. Remember also Siaya County has 6 constituencies. We are currently at Game constituencies, but we have Alego Usonga, we have Bondo, we have Ugenya and Ugunja constituencies as well. So a while back we were able to visit some polling stations, and it's just business as usual. The electoral materials were being dispatched from the tallying centers to different polling stations. We're all set for tomorrow. But there's an incident that happened this afternoon after 4 people were sustained minor injuries. We were told by the county commander that there was some sort of coalition between some MP aspirants that I won't mention the names because it's yet to be confirmed, but 4 people are sustaining minor injuries, so there's nothing to worry about. But they say that security has been beefed up in this particular county. So that's all we have lined up for you right here in Siaya, and we'll be sure to keep you updated and bring you up to date on what's happening, especially tomorrow. We will be pitching tent at Ugenya and Rarieda constituencies. Remember, those are very vital because that's where the gubernatorial aspirants will be voting. James Orengo will be voting at Ugenya, and Nicholas Gumbo will be voting at Rarieda. So we will be pitching tent in those particular counties, and we'll be sure to bring you up to date on what's happening right here in Siaya. Back to you in studio.
Thank you, our very own Elizabeth Tieno, for that, painting a picture of a Siaya that is ready to cast its ballot for its prodigal son, who counts it as his home turf and his stronghold politically, and will be expecting a near 100% turnout. From Siaya County, let's get to Homabay County, where our very own Dennis Otieno is on standby. Dennis, more than the presidential race, the gubernatorial race in that particular county is a bit heated equally, isn't it?
Absolutely, Abubakar. Now, well said. Equally, the gubernatorial race is absolutely heated up. More like the presidential, the presidential seat. Now, here in Homabay County, which is county number 043, there is a very tight race between the former Nairobi governor, that is Evans Kidero, and Gladys Wanga, who is an ODM candidate. Now, as we understood a little bit earlier, both of these candidates were members of the ODM party. But at some point, Evans Kidero opted out of ODM party after the party reached a consensus and gave the bid to Gladys Wanga to bid for the gubernatorial seat in Homabay County. Now, Abubakar, at the moment we're at the Homabay High School, which is one of the polling centers. Now, from this center, we had a number of IEBC materials that were getting distributed from this location and getting distributed to other constituencies. Now, remember, Abubakar, Homabay County has a total of 8 constituencies, among them being Ndiwa, Mbita, Homabay Town constituency, also a constituency like Suba, Kasipul, Kabondo, as well as Kasipul and Karachonyo. So those are 8 constituencies where they were having all their IBC or rather election material getting distributed from this location and getting dispatched to the various constituencies and wards in Homabay County. Now, Bakar, behind me is a beehive of activities and a number of IBC officials who are still waiting to get deployed to their various stations and their various constituencies and wards. Well, the basic thing that I wouldn't want to say that they're stranded. Basically, they're just waiting for their transportation so that they get deployed, so that come early morning, that is tomorrow, when the general election will be taking place, they will be well stationed and they are definitely ready to take part and guide some of the voters that are going to take part in the general election. Now, Bakar, remember, Homabay County is a very, very vast county. The total number of registered voters is 551,071 registered voters. Those are the number of expected voters that are expected to queue on some of the polling stations across Homabay County. Now, earlier on, we got to speak, to a number of IEBC officials, among them being the returning officer of the Homabay Town constituency. Now, he stated that they're very well prepared. They're well prepared to take over, and conduct free, credible, and fair election. Well, earlier today, they were having an exercise known as the breakage of the ballot pellets. We witnessed that they were breaking, some of the materials that are going to be used in the upcoming election. And we also covered, some of the kits and the boxes, the ballot boxes, that were being prepared to be dispatched to the various wards and the various counties, constituencies within Homabay County. Well, as of the moment, you cannot really get a hold of the returning officer of Homabay Town constituency, because, basically he's stated that he's trying to make sure that he sorts out all of the IBC agents and some of the clerks that are still here and are still trying to sort out their transportation issues. So we cannot really get a hold of him. But in the case that we do, we'll definitely catch up with him, and he'll get to tell us, or rather inform us more about how the process went by. Now, Bakar, like I've stated, 551,071 registered voters in Homabay County. It is a 2-horse race between Evans Kidero and Gladys Wanga. We've been made aware that Evans Kidero will be casting his vote early morning, that is going to be tomorrow, at Asumbi Primary School. Now, consequently, we will be having Gladys Wanga will be casting her ballot a little bit later within Rangwe constituency, a school known as Aloro. I'm forgetting the name of the school, but it is within Rangwe constituency. So we'll be keeping up to tabs. We'll be following up on the preparations of IEBC. Come early morning, we'll be right, at the polling centers. And remember also, Bakar, the county tallying center is going to be at the Tom Mboya University, which is just a few meters away from the Homabay High School. So we'll be trying to juggle between Homabay High School getting all the way to the Tom Mboya University, where we'll be having the county tallying center. Also trying to get a hold of Evans Kidero, who are casting his ballot at the Asumbi Primary School, and also Gladys Wanga, who will be also casting a ballot at Rangwe constituency. Well, Abubakar, that is the latest coming from the Homabay Town constituency and Homabay County at large. We'll be definitely following up on what will be taking shape in matters general election, and we'll be bringing you up to speed in our subsequent bulletins. Back to you in studio.
Well, Dennis, perhaps before I let you go, one question. We have talked of Raila Odinga wanting a near 100% from this county, counting it as his stronghold. We have painted a picture equally of the gubernatorial race that is between Evans Kidero, former Nairobi governor, and Gladys Wanga, who is the current member of parliament. Just how important will this be of a test to loyalty to Odinga, who will require numbers in the gubernatorial race? No, he will be joining us in this wall-to-wall coverage. From Dennis Otieno, who is in Homabay County, let's get to Flora Limuki, who is equally on standby. Flora, paint for us a picture of how things are, where you are at.
Well, a very good evening to you, Abubakar. We're coming live from the Mgwen Tallying Center that is in Mgwen constituency right here in Nandi County, a county that has 406,280 number of registered voters. And this specific constituency, that is Mgwen, has 66,940 registered voters. It has been the busiest tallying center throughout today. That is where the ballot papers were being transported from to the 154 polling stations right here in this constituency. And perhaps shed more light on how the exercise has been like, I'm joined by the Deputy Returning Officer, that is Judith, and she'll shed more light on what this exercise has been like.
Okay, good evening. My name is Judith Biwot. The process started very well. We started by breaking the ballot papers, and in the presence of the agents, and we recorded the seals, the serial numbers of the seals. Thank you.
And what are some of the challenges that you faced during this process?
For sure, we never faced any challenges. We were expecting rains, but thank God the rains never rained today. Thank you.
For the last 2 hours, we've been seeing a very active exercise of transporting ballot papers to the polling stations here in Mgwen constituency. Is this process over, or when do we expect everything to be over and get ready for the elections that are set to be held tomorrow morning?
Okay, thank you very much. The process is over.
And how is the security like ahead of the elections? Earlier on, the governor had mentioned something about the chiefs using the youth to buying ID cards from the youth to manipulate the elections that are supposed to be held tomorrow. What do you have to say about this? Is this place, have you secured this specific tallying center?
We have, the security number is 20. We have 20 police officers securing the place.
Okay. Thank you very much. That has been Judith, who is the Deputy Returning Officer here in Mgwen Tallying Center. And what we know as of now, the Governor Stephen Sang will be voting at around 6 a.m. And also a race that we are keeping our eyes on is the Nandi Hills parliamentarian race. That is where Alfred Geter, the sitting member of parliament, is voting in. And he has a very tight the race is quite tight because the other contender is Cleophas Lagat, the former governor, is also quite a tough candidate, and we also be looking into that. And we've been let know that Geter will be voting at around 9 a.m.
Well, Flora Limuki, before perhaps I let you go, one question. IEBC says it's ready. You have been crisscrossing the breadth and length of that particular county. Have you seen that readiness where you are at?
Yes, here in Nandi County, for the 3 tallying centers and 3 constituencies that we've been traversing across, they are quite ready, because what we are worrying about is the exercise of transporting the ballot papers that was continuing from, that has been very active for the last 1 hour, and we felt like this could derail the process. But right now, all things are set to go. Yes.
9 hours to the polls. You are at a stronghold perceived to be of Deputy President William Ruto. Just how much of significance will those numbers be to him?
Right here in Nandi County, he has quite massive support in Nandi County because mostly of is UDA party, and it is a very strong party here with most candidates being, the top candidates being from UDA party and contending with very strong independent candidates. So I can say the Deputy President enjoys a very massive support from this specific region.
Thank you, Flora Limuki, who is live from Nandi County. She will be bringing us up to speed in our subsequent bulletins of how the happenings of tomorrow will be. Remember, polls open tomorrow at 6 a.m. Just a reminder that some of these counties that we are talking of, Nandi included, we were on earlier in Homabay and Siaya. And again, we say perceived strongholds. It's you, the voter, who will decide whether that perception will be a reality tomorrow. From Nandi County, let's get to Naivasha, where our very own Willie Dennis and Jiru is on standby. Willie Dennis, bring us up to speed with the latest from where you are.
Thank you very much, my colleague in studio, Abubakar. Coming to you live from the lakeside city of Naivasha. Unlike it is been sampled across the country, the same sentiments, the same preparedness, the same anxiety looms as the locals here are still wandering out there, up and about, awaiting time when we are going to be having that time where we go to the ballot and exercise that civic duty. But without taking much time, perhaps I could take insights with a few locals here. Tueleze jina la kwako, umejiandaa kivipi?
Kwa jina ni Mesha Morethi, mkaaji wa Naivasha. Mimi nimejitayarisha, kesho ni kuamka mapema. Unachagua kiongozi ambaye unajua atakufanyia kazi. Na amani sana, amani iko sana.
Amani sana. Hebu nisikie kutoka kwa mwingine. Ndugu, jina la kwako?
Kwa majina ni,
umejiandaa vipi?
Kwa majina ni Captain David. Nasema kwa Wakenya wote tujiandae kwa kura kwa njia nzuri, na kwa umuhimu kabisa tunaomba amani kwa kila mmoja. Baada ya kupiga kura turudi nyumbani, tuongoje matokeo na tukae na amani. Kaa na jirani yako, dumisha amani. Hiyo ndio kitu ya maana.
Nauliza, ukipiga kura uelekee nyumbani, wewe ni kama utaembrace kukua nje usiku mpaka asubuhi?
La hasha, mimi nitapiga kura na nirudi nyumbani na nitulie niongoje matokeo. Hiyo ndio kitu.
Kwa sasa utakaa nje hadi asubuhi ama utaelekea nyumbani?
Kwa sasa naelekea nyumbani, lale mpaka masaa itafika, masaa ya kazi. Basi.
Asante, wacha tumsikie ndugu hapa. Jina la kwako?
Jina la kwangu naitwa Gitonga, na tunangojea kesho asubuhi mapema tupige kura ndio tujue venye mambo itakuwa.
Hali iko vipi?
Hali iko mzuri juu naona Naivasha iko na amani, watu wamegojea, ndio hawa watu wawili tuwatenganishe tupate mshindi. Hakuna mambo mingi hapa, watu wako na amani kabisa.
Wacha tumsikie. Naja kwako ndugu. Jina la kwako?
Naitwa Ben Mwangi.
Angalia huko.
Na mimi ni mkazi wa Naivasha lakini siishi hapa. Nimetoka Kiambu lakini kwa sababu kura yangu ni hapa, nimekuja leo usiku ndio niamke Ngware niende nipige kura yangu alafu nirudie biashara yangu pia.
Mbona unachukua safari ndefu hivi na licha IEBC ilikuwa imekupa nafasi ya kuweza kuhamisha kura yako katika eneo ambalo linakufaa karibu kwako?
Mimi nimezaliwa hapa. Maendeleo yote yenye yatafanyika hapa inategemea kura yangu. Kura yangu nikipigia mtu mwenye ataniendeleza, hata kama nafanya kazi mbali, matokeo itakuwa tu hapa.
Asante, wacha tumsikie ndugu. Ndugu, jina la kwako?
Majina yangu naitwa David Karioki. Mimi kwangu nimejitayarisha juu hii siku nilikuwa nimeigoja sana. Kama leo mimi nalala hadi asubuhi nigojee nichague kiongozi anayefaa, kwa sababu kila mtu saa hii ameamua mwenye ataenda saa hii kurushia kura yake. Mimi nikutoka nikichaguana nirudi kwa nyumba nilale hadi niamkie hii siku nyingine nisikie.
Umesubiri kwa hamu na gamu?
Mimi nimesubiri kabisa, ndio kwa maana saa hii siendi nyumbani na goja ili asubuhi nikishachagua kiongozi mwenye anafaa nirudi kwa nyumba sasa nikae na nilale.
Manake unakesha?
Manake mimi nakesha mimi mwenyewe.
Kura yako ni wapi?
Kura yangu ni hapa Municipal Park, hapa Naivasha Municipal Park.
Karibu tu hapa na unakaa kwenye kibaridi.
Hii siku nilikuwa nimeigoja sana kwa hamu.
Asante. Wacha tumsikie ndugu mwingine. Ndugu, jina lako wako?
Naitwa Philip. Mimi ni kukesha hapa mpaka asubuhi, ni wasubiri wateja wanaohitaji kusafirishwa katika vituo vya kura, na pia mimi nichaguane na nielekee nifanye kazi yangu, kisha jioni nielekee nyumbani nitazame hadi nione mshindi ni nani.
Ndugu, jina lako wako? Songea tu karibu hapa.
Kwa jina langu mimi ni James Njoroge, mkazi wa Naivasha, kuzaliwa na kulelewa. Tumeishi kwa hamu kugojea mwaka, mwezi, wiki, kwa saizi ni masaa. Na tunasema asante Mungu kwa hii siku, apia na masaa yamebakia. Mungu tunagojea utupatie kiongozi na ambaye atatufaa. Na akiingia kiongozi ajue pia ni wa Kenya, tunahitaji pia maisha mazuri na pia rekebisha aliyotendeka vibaya. Haya ndio kweli.
Haya, asante ndugu, jina lako? Ndugu, jina lako?
Okay, kwa majina naitwa Kelvin Ngogi. Kwa matayarisho yetu sisi tumejipanga kabisa. Unaposikiza kuna hikio kifaa tumekizoea sana kwa mpira, lakini usiku wa leo itakuwa ya kuita watu twende tukachaguane, na sisi tutaitikia. Mwenye atashinda tutamuitikia, mwenye ataenda nyumbani ni sawa, lakini furugu yoyote sisi kama wananchi tumesema hakuna.
Wewe unakesha nje?
Okay, mimi kwa kusema
kidogo tuliza ndugu.
Kesha tunaweza kesha, kwa maana kuna wale wanalala saizi washalala. Lazima sisi tutakesha, tuwaamushe tuende mapema, sisi tu vote, tuelekee manyumbani, tungojee matokeo.
Utaamsha kivipi na kila mtu anajua kesho ni kurauka mapema?
Okay, tuko na hiyo kifaa filimbi tumeizoea kwa mpira sana, lakini hiyo kifaa
ndio mtatumia.
Tumesema tutakitumia kwa dakika chache tuwalatu wenye wameshalala, na hiyo ndio itakuwa
Okay, tukimalizia sawa, ndakupa nafasi. Karibia. Jina la kwako ndugu, umejiandaa vipi kwa shughuli nzima ya uchaguzi? Masaa machache yamesalia tu.
Kwa majina naitwa Peter. Mimi nimejiandaa, sitaki kwenda nyumbani mpaka nikae hapa mpaka ningojee laini.
Pole ndugu. Umejiandaa vizuri. So wewe ni mmoja ambao wanakesha nje?
Nitakesha nje nikigojea.
Utakesha nje kwa sababu ni kazi ya kufanya bodaboda, ama utakesha nje kwa maudhui tu ya
nikigojea ndio asubuhi nikuwe namba moja ama namba mbili?
Haya, jamaa amekuwa akipiga kipenga hapa.
Basi mimi ndio huyu hapa kwa miongo mitatu tumegoja tupate kiongozi huyu. Raila Odinga tumpate aingie mali pale. Yule mzee.
Wewe umejiandaa kivipi?
Mimi ni kulala hapa nikeshe, manake usubuhi naenda kuweka pale baroti. Niweke watu waingie.
Asante.
Watu warauke.
Asante sana kwa muda wako.
Ni kweli Mungu atupe uongozi.
My colleague in studio Abubakar, as you can see, there's a lot of anxiety here. Some of them are going to brave the cold and the deep nights as they await for the early hour of the morning to ensure that they exercise their constitutional mandate of going to the ballot and actually voting for the next leaders in various seats across the country. We will be keeping an eye, we will be up and about, awake early enough to ensure that we give you an early report to all our viewers on what is developing around this place and subsequently throughout the day, and that will be good for us as TV47 doing what we do best. Back to you in studio, Abubakar.
Thank you, Willie. Dennis Njiru, who is live from Naivasha constituency, which is part of the larger Nakuru County. Remember, that is a county on our focus equally, a vote-rich county whose gubernatorial race is quite competitive, attracting the incumbent Governor Lee Kinyanjui and UDA's current Nakuru Senator Susan Kihika. Willie Dennis Njiru is in Naivasha. Remember, we have Chichi Josephine in Nakuru County, and she will be at the main county tallying center. From Nakuru, which is Kenya's latest capital, let's get to the coast. A calm Kwale, or is it Betty Mwakideo?
We are coming to you live from Kwale County. Right now, we are particularly at the Msambweni Tallying Center, where, if you can see just behind me, it's a beehive where some of the officials, the IEBC officials, are still collecting election materials to take them to their specific polling stations. Earlier today, we witnessed the election materials being distributed to various polling stations. Remember, in Msambweni County, there are 154 polling stations. And maybe if you can join me right now is the returning officer from this Msambweni County Tallying Center. Just come on set. Maybe you can tell us how has the exercise been so far.
Yeah, my name is Jafet Omara. I am returning officer from Msambweni constituency. Things have been moving on very well. We've been able to dispatch almost all the presiding officers to the polling stations. As you can see, we are the final polling stations that are just going nearby the tallying center. We are well prepared for the election, and as I've said earlier, everything has been planned very well. We've trained very well, and we believe that we are going to be successful.
And like we just saw earlier in Mombasa, the gubernatorial race has been postponed due to hitches. Maybe have you experienced such hitches in this constituency?
No, basically all the election materials have been received as expected. We don't have any hiccups as far as what we expected to receive is concerned. As I've said earlier, we are actually ready for the election.
So are you confident that you will conduct this election as a free and fair election?
Yeah, take my bet that as planned, we expect to conduct it in a very free, a very fair, and a very credible way. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Omar. That is the returning officer here at the Msambweni Constituency Tallying Center. Remember, it is one of the constituencies in Kwale County. We have 4 constituencies in Kwale County, namely Matuga Constituency, Lungalunga Constituency, Kinango Constituency, including the Msambweni Constituency. So far, what we have already gathered is that in the gubernatorial race, the aspirant for or the candidates for the gubernatorial race, be it the current governor, deputy governor of Kwale, that is Fatuma Achani, will be voting at the Maroni Primary School at around 7:30 a.m. And also Hamadi Boga of ODM will be voting at the combined primary school. So those are some of the races that will be put an eye on. So we'll be updating you as they unfold from here in Kwale County. Back to you in studio.
Thank you, Betty Mwakideo, who is live from a calm Kwale County, from the country's coastal county of Kwale. Let's get to the country's central county of Nyeri County, vote-rich equally, where Olo Horace is on standby. Olo, is Nyeri ready tonight for tomorrow's polls?
Thank you and good evening from Nyeri County on this election eve, because we are just having a few hours to the opening of polling stations, Kenyans being expected to exercise their constitutional right to vote for their next leadership, which is going to take over the leadership of this country from maybe tomorrow or after the results have been announced. And as you can see here in Nyeri County, this is just one of most of the polling stations we visited, and everything is set. As you can see from this side, everything is looking set for the election that is coming from tomorrow very early in the morning. And as you can see, we are having 6 ballot boxes, which we are expecting to be, we are expecting that Kenyans will be casting in tomorrow, from the presidential to the National Assembly representative, to the county member of county assemblies, to the senator, all the way to the member of or rather to the woman rep. We are also having reactions still going on. Earlier today, we've gotten the chance to speak to Rigathi Gachagua. This is the Kenya Kwanza's running mate, the William Ruto running mate, who comes from Madira. Madira is one of the constituencies here in Nyeri County, and we had a chance as to speak to him, and one of the things he raised it was about the preparedness of IEBC there. He talked about he was sure that IEBC is ready and is going to conduct this election in a free and fair manner. Let's listen in to what he said.
Is live from Nyeri County. You're watching TV 47.
You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
Hi, my name is Nick Mavindi. I am a TV producer and a director here at TV 47. So, I would love to tell you this. Elections come and go, but your friend and a neighbor will always be there. So let's keep peace this period of elections. But remember, Kenya is bigger than all of us.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari. The moment is finally here. Years, months, days. Tuesday is the day, the deciding moment for Kenya. Join our team spread across the country for wall-to-wall coverage of Election 2022 on your channel of choice, TV 47, the home of untold stories. Je, maumivu ya kichwa na kukosesha amani? Kaluma Strong hutuliza maumivu ya kichwa, maumivu ya mwili na hata huondoa joto jingi mwilini. Kaluma Strong ina aspirin kama kiungo. Maumivu yakizidi, muone daktari. Hey! Kaluma King Herbal Lozenges zinazo nguvu maradufu kutuliza kikohozi, vidonda vya koo na mafua. Kaluma King ni shwari.
Chika mama huyo muharifu kaiba kuku zangu, vifaranga wangu na mayai zote pia kabeba. Chika mama huyo.
Maumivu yakizidi, muone daktari. TV47, the home of untold stories.
Welcome back to this special coverage of Kenya Decides, 9 hours ahead of decision time. Remember, polls will be opening tomorrow at 6 a.m. You, the voter, you, the viewer, will have the democratic right to exercise your right as enshrined in the Constitution to employ a president, to employ a governor, to employ a member of parliament, a senator, a woman rep, and a member of county assembly. TV47, and literally across the 47 counties, we have our reporters who will be briefing us and bringing us up to speed with the latest that is happening across the country. Let's get to the seaside city of Mombasa, where our Petronila Goren is on standby now. Petronila Goren, how is Mombasa reacting to the fact that tonight IEBC has suspended the gubernatorial contest for that particular county?
Thank you very much, Abubakar, from our Nairobi studios. And as you have stated, is that there are mixed reactions regarding the suspension that was just announced by the IEBC chairman, Wafula Chebukati, later in the evening. And it is a suspension that many people here in Mombasa, including residents and voters, have received, with others with shock. And others are okay with the news saying that, oh, IEBC, they have noticed that there are discrepancies here and there, then they have all valid reasons to postpone the gubernatorial elections. Earlier on, we did speak to a number of electorates, and we have also spoken to a number of gubernatorial candidates in a press briefing with media. The current member of parliament from Vita constituency, Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir, vying on ODM ticket, condemned the IEBC for the suspension, terming it as unnecessary and untimely, considering that IEBC had already shown confidence, according to him, that they were ready for the elections. And so the suspension and postponement is something that he says is perturbed, that they've been able to do that, considering the errors. He says is perturbed by the errors in some of the ballot papers and the discrepancies that had been witnessed earlier on during the day, where the gubernatorial ballot papers for Kilifi County were here in Mombasa County. And so he has generally condemned that move, though he has urged voters to come or turn out in large numbers and vote for other positions that will be going on tomorrow. Similarly, we also had feedback or reaction from the UDA candidate Hassan Omar Sarai, who also similarly condemned IEBC for the postponement, saying that it is untimely and that similar almost sentiments that they might be a mischief, citing that they are alleging that the government is interfering with the commission, and that's why there's been such suspension. And what is interesting, Abubakar, is that both sides, UDA and Azimio candidates, are all claiming mischief in the postponement of the gubernatorial election. And UDA is saying they had done their campaigns, they had garnered a base here in Mombasa, an area that they are saying has been perceived as ODM stronghold, and they were hoping that in this election they'll garner a lot of votes on the UDA side, and so the suspension might be a way out to just cut down their popularity. At the same time, the ODM side is also claiming mischief. They're saying that this is their stronghold as per the history of the previous elections, and that the fact that they are suspending it in a stronghold that is theirs is a move that is maybe they're claiming might be to help their opponents to win the elections. But basically, they've all urged their voters from all sides to just turn out, their supporters, and vote. And they're saying that they're ready if IEBC decides to reschedule the elections maybe at a later date, they will be ready to come out and convince their voters to come, to convince their supporters to come again and vote. And so at the moment, I'm being joined by one of the gubernatorial candidates vying on Upya ticket. His name is Shafi Makazi, and is among the is the youngest among the 7 candidates here that have been vying for this seat, and at 36 years old. So I would also wish to give him an opportunity and give our viewers also another opportunity to listen from another gubernatorial candidate on his reaction and what he has to say about the suspension of the gubernatorial election. Thank you very much for sparing your time to speak to TV47. Kindly share with us your reaction and your opinion in regard to the suspension of the gubernatorial election here in Mombasa.
Thank you very much, Petronila TV47, for giving me this opportunity at least to air my views on this going saga. I think TV47 is one of the best TV stations here in the country because it has given us a platform whereby we share our ideas on a daily basis. So according to me, whatever it has happened with the IEBC, I think I can say it's one of the logistical problems, and it has happened in such a manner that we can condemn the situation, but in the real sense, the IEBC has been conducting elections since 2013, 2017, and we've never seen such experiences before. So on this occasion, whereby this has happened, we cannot also go ahead and condemn them. It's one of the logistical problems, and they're there, and we should consider as a challenge on our side. On the other hand, Wafula Chebukati, also the chairman of the IEBC, should also see this as a challenge on his side also, because we understand that they went to Greece for the verification purposes. We don't understand what happened to this extent whereby there is a mix-up in the ballot papers. So we hope this will be rectified, and within no time, because he has said within a short while we'll get a gazette notice on when the election should be conducted. So we should not always try as Kenyans to condemn this situation, but we should rather look for solutions on how we'll go about this problem.
And do you think this will affect how Mombasa voters will vote tomorrow?
Of course, yes. Negatively, positively, this will affect, because there will be lower turnout, voter turnout tomorrow. I don't think if there will be 100% turnout for the voters, because some of them, they were just going there for the gubernatorial candidates. In that process, some of the candidates also, they will get some chance for them to be elected, to be voted in. But this time around, I sense a danger. I sense a danger.
Thank you. And just a final question is that IEBC has said that they will gazette a different date for elections, for the gubernatorial elections. Now, in your opinion, do you think it will be fair, free, credible, and transparent?
Of course, we should put our confidence on the commissions which we set ourselves in this country. If we cannot trust the institutions, then we don't think if this country will run well. But I have confidence in the IEBC that they will conduct a fair and credible elections this time around.
Thank you very much for your views, Shafi Makazi. Thank you very much for speaking to TV47. And now, Abubakar, remember Mombasa has slightly above 641,000 voters. And at the moment, when we went through different tallying centers in different constituencies, the dispatch process is ongoing, and we will be following up to just find out the electoral materials that are being dispatched to different polling stations here in Mombasa, approximately 1,045 polling stations, and that includes 4 polling stations, that 3 are in Shimolatewa prison and 1 is at Kingorani prison, famously known as Jelabaridi. And so we'll just be following that to ensure or to just confirm whether all those materials have been have arrived at those polling stations. And we will be following this up and bringing it up to our viewers in our different or subsequent updates of the 2022 elections. Now, back to you, Studio Abubakar.
Patronila Goren, perhaps before I let you go, you are very right that each political side is casting aspersions, reading mischief in why the gubernatorial race, both in where you are at Mombasa County and Kakamega, were postponed. But are there legitimate fears of a voter apathy from the leaders whom you spoke to earlier on?
Yes, some leaders, thank you, Abubakar, some leaders have expressed voter apathy, but one leader that came out strongly to announce that is the Mvita Member of Parliament, Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir, who promised that he will be out tomorrow to encourage voters to turn out, to go to the polling stations and vote, and that the postponement of the gubernatorial elections should not affect. But on the contrary, other people and the political analysts that we've spoken to that are based here in Mombasa are saying that they might be low turnout tomorrow. And so we just wait and see how things will turn out arithmetically and whether that will truly affect the voter turnout.
And Patronila, perhaps finally, the exiting governor is the first governor of Mombasa County, Ali Hassan Joho of 001. He has endorsed publicly under the Azimio umbrella the current Mvita Member of Parliament, Abdul Samad Sharif Nasir. We had a matrix that included Sonko, who endorsed UDA's Hassan Omar. Is it a 2-horse race, or the proverbial Raila stronghold remains?
It's an interesting question, Abubakar, and it's something that we've been following closely. And first, the Mike Sonko effect was expected to play a vital role on how the voters will vote tomorrow. The fact that he was in the he had shown interest in the gubernatorial seat, and most people had warmed up, that is, the electorates had warmed up to the fact that he will be on the ballot. And the fact that he exited and decided to support Hassan Omar of UDA under Kenya Kwanza is something that was going to basically affect how our people here in Mombasa will vote, considering that the last week Sonko was here and campaigning vigorously in the 6 constituencies here in Mombasa. And on the contrary is that the fact that the current governor for Mombasa, Hassan Ali Joho, has been supporting and has also proposed the Mvita Member of Parliament, Abdul Swamad Sharif, as his successor. Not just that, he has also campaigned as well in the 6 counties for Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir. And so it was we were expecting a tight race, considering that also the opinion polls that had been done here in Mombasa last week had shown the fact that the Sonko base, that is, for instance, majorly Changamwe constituency, which had shown interest of voting for Mike Sonko, had now shifted base to Hassan Omar. So we were expecting that those areas, according to analysts, the political analysts, that those voters will shift to Hassan Omar. And so, yes, it was going to affect how the voters here will vote. And yes, we were expecting a tight race.
All right, thank you. Petronila Goren is live from Kenya's sea capital of Mombasa. Remember, the extensive Mombasa County's gubernatorial race has been suspended by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. Equally that of Kakamega County, IEBC. Earlier on in a press briefing through its chairman, noting that the ballot for those particular counties and the gubernatorial position had error in details, and they couldn't go on with that election tomorrow. You're watching Kenya's fastest growing television, where we are covering the elections. 9 hours to the 6 a.m. polling time, when Kenyans will get the first time, in as far as the hour is concerned, to exercise their democratic right. Remember, IEBC will be conducting this election. The last election, general perhaps it conducted, was one that saw President Uhuru Kenyatta win his second term after a protracted legal battle of the Supreme Court that saw the country's results and election numbers nullified by the country's top courts. We are covering the details of how this race is shaping. I'm Abubakar Abdullahi. Time for us to take a short break, but remember, when we come back from the break, we equally have a panel of analysts, experts in this subject, who will be making sense of the race as it trickles down. We'll be speaking to Professor Peter Kagwanja, Professor Macharia Munene, and David Makali. Stay with us. That discussion is after this break.
The home of untold stories.
Inakuja wa Kenya. My name is Tony Mwirigi. Mimi mtangazaji hapa TV47. Ni wakati wa uchaguzi na ningependa tuweze kuhubiri amani wakati huo wa uchaguzi. Kumbuka, Kenya is bigger than all of us. Asanteni.
Want to know the meaning of a soft life? It's living with ease and accessing quality lifestyle while taking a swim. It's taking care of your body in a 5-star gym while you achieve your fitness goals. It's living in a serene and quiet neighborhood. It's about staying in a place with spacious driveways and ample parking. It's about living in a safe and secure environment. It's about convenient shopping. Soft life is living comfortable in affordable and yet an elegant space. It's everything stylish. Here's to introducing Great Rift Apartments, located at the heart of Nakuru City in Kisulisuli Estate, just a few minutes from the Central Business District. Great Rift Apartments, the hub of soft living.
Authentic, natural, planned. Transforming. Endless benefits. Slaty, purely Kenyan. Buy now on Jumia or Amazon.
disability can make it more difficult for a person to do certain activities or effectively interact with the world around them.
I went to very many radio stations and TV stations, and wengine waliogopa kuniambia.
But here on Beyond the Limit, we talk to those who have taken a chance and are able to navigate the world around them.
Mimi ni cyclist.
Success na challenges ni kitu moja.
Join Mudhoni Maina as she listens to stories of those who have gone beyond their limit every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
I'm the co-founder of Aluminum Greenhouses. At Aluminum, we are an agri-tech farming solutions company in Kenya that provides farmers with affordable greenhouses together with drip irrigation kits to improve their yield and income. I was born and raised in a farm in the western part of Kenya, Kericho. We grew maize and beans and tea predominantly. We chose it as a revenue stream. And here we are now building a company that allows farmers to also improve an income. On the overall as a business, I think we've improved our revenue base. We were predominantly focused on middle income farmers. The grant allowed us to reach to smallholder farmers. I got shortlisted for the Mandela Washington Fellowship Program in 2016. And after the program, we applied for a business grant and we received $25,000. First, we've taken farmers from just growing ordinary maize and beans to growing high-value export crops such as basil leaves. We've seen yields increase by up to 400% in the same area because greenhouses protect these crops from pests and diseases. And most importantly, we've seen farmers improve income and afford even education and healthcare for their children. It's an exciting feeling. We wake up every morning with the one goal to ensure that we transform the lives of smallholder farmers in Kenya. We're very passionate about this. We can say right now that we've improved yield for farmers averagely 5 times, and the story goes on.